Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your Lunar Cycle Insight video. For the cycle beginning with the new moon solar eclipse in Leo on the 11th of August and culminating with the new moon in Virgo on the 9th of September. And I am calling this lunar cycle the great unwinding, because this is the moment where we get to begin to reintegrate all of the energy, all of the lessons that we have been exerting over the past few months, dealing with all of the retrograde planets and moving through the eclipse tunnel. So this, as we head towards the end of August and into September, this is going to be a much calmer time for all of us. And particularly for you guys who have, just experienced that huge full moon lunar eclipse in your sign. You have Uranus moving into your 4th house. Mars is retrograde in your sign. You have been really hit hard by the shifts of this year, Aquarius, and now is the time for you to begin to call your fractured sense of self back into wholeness. So all of the changes that you've been experiencing, all of the rewiring, all of the reworking that you've been doing can now begin to start to be grounded, to start to manifest in physical, tangible ways. And of course, with the planets moving through your 7th and 8th house this month, there's a huge theme for you around love, romance, and sensuality and intimacy. So it's a very interesting energy for you, Aquarius, having these eclipses fall in your 7th house, in your opposite sign of Leo. It's bringing your attention to how you interact with the people in your world. And this can be, definitely focused around partnerships, romantic partnerships, business partnerships, but also around friendships and groups with the energy of Mars retrograde in your sign on the node as well. So it's a huge reworking of how you present yourself to the world and how you connect and cooperate with the people in your life. Because you, Aquarius, unless there are other mitigating factors in your birth chart, you are such a cosmic sign. You see everything from the highest perspective, and sometimes you can find yourself being a little bit of a lone wolf, being, one of the signs that really values autonomy. So these Leo energies, Mercury retrograde in your 7th house, the Sun in your 7th house, the eclipse falling in your 7th house again, and this is a pattern that you've been working with over the past 2 years. So this is something you can really look back and reflect on how far you've come as well. But it's really calling you into open-heartedness. It's really calling you into allowing those warm, heart-centered connections to form, allowing communion with others to bring you joy, because you are a very etheric sign, Aquarius, a very evolved sign, so you can quite easily detach yourself from what you perceive to be other people's dramas quite often. But these energies are really calling you to recognize that your relationships are a tool for growth. Without relationships, without connections with other people, there will be very little evolution for the soul on this planet. So it's a time of honoring that and cultivating that. And we can really see a reprogramming of your beliefs around what it means to be loved, to give and receive love. And as the month goes on, particularly what it means to be intimate with other souls. So this can act a little bit like a cosmic reset for you, this new moon, Aquarius, where you start to really implement a new way of being, If you are seeking partnership at this time, you might find that there's been many things revealed to you, barriers and blockages that need to be removed before you can enter into conscious partnership at this time. Or, you know, perhaps some of you have been really working on equality in relationships as well, you know, cultivating relationships that, you know, you are giving and receiving in equal measure. So there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of changes that are happening, you know, for you internally that are reflecting in the external world and in these connections that you have with other people. You know, all sorts of things happening and being triggered for you on a deep internal basis and on, you know, the physical outer layer, as well as Uranus comes and crosses your IC point, which can affect both the home and career. So there's a huge sense of change and recalibration that's been happening for you and will continue to happen, but on a lesser scale as the energies of the month begin to unfold. So Mercury will station direct on the 19th, just after Mars retrogrades back into Capricorn on the 12th. So he will be leaving your sign, I think for about 3 to 4 weeks. He's going to head back into Capricorn, where he will station direct later this month. But this energy is, again, very internalized for you. He's heading into the 12th house. So it's almost like another layer of karmic cleansing, another layer of looking in your subconscious. You know, how do you feel about expressing your Mars energy into the world, Aquarius? You know, is there some subconscious beliefs or thought patterns around expressing your power, expressing your potential, expressing your sensuality and sexuality in the world? So as he retrogrades back into Capricorn, it's another moment of reflection for you. He will enter your sign again on the 10th of September after the Virgo New Moon, and you know, then you will be able to start calling back your sense of power, your sense of autonomy. You'll begin to see the results of the work that you've been doing whilst he has been retrograde in your sign. So, you know, he's going to be in your sign for a little while. He won't even leave his shadow period till October. So you still have a little bit of a journey to do with the warrior god. But the energy will definitely start to lessen, and that need that you've been feeling to really, you know, push forward with liberating yourself from anything that impinges your sense of freedom will start to wane as he goes back into Capricorn and turns direct. But yes, it feels like a month, you know, where you'll be doing some more soul retrieval work, where you'll be discovering more buried parts of yourself and calling yourself really back into wholeness, Aquarius. So as I said, Mercury is going to station in your 7th house of relationship on the 19th. So if there has been some reworking you've been doing, if there has been some conversations you've had to have, you know, perhaps you've had to be really authentic, really express your needs and what you require in a relationship to other people, or even admit those needs to yourself. And perhaps you have been recognizing the relationships that don't bring you joy, that don't feel alive, that don't feel passionate. Perhaps you've had to get rid of some dead wood, for want of a better phrase, in your life. So as Mercury begins to move forward, and we know that his station days can be the most sticky days of the month. Although he's changing direction, it takes a while for him to pick up speed, so that sense of frustration can amplify around this time. But as he does start to move forward, you'll begin to see the benefits of the reprogramming that you've done around opening your heart, around working to express yourself authentically in your relationships. And also today, you have a beautiful trine forming in the heavens between Jupiter and Neptune, and you know Jupiter's been moving through your 10th house in Scorpio, Neptune's in your 2nd house of resources, and you might remember this energy from June and July when the planets were moving through Cancer and they were creating a beautiful grand water trine. So it's a similar energy, although not as strong without the added water element planet, but still this can give you a real boost, a real blessing in the areas of career and in the areas of finances. So there may be some new opportunities coming in, or maybe there's a different way of perceiving some of the issues you may be having financially or in your workplace. You know, perhaps there's something unexpected that flows in around this time. So just be open to those opportunities, open to those connections, open to seeing a new way of working in the world, opening to see new ways of perhaps making money, or perhaps it's just a sense of you, okay, feeling, okay, what I do is beautiful, you know, what I have to offer the world is valuable and it is worthy. So either way, there's a sense of peace and there's a sense of flow and harmony that is coming through these areas of your life mid-month, Aquarius. So on the 23rd of August, the Sun will shift out of Leo and into Virgo, and this is where the energies can really begin to change, to shift. You know, we really feel a palpable sense of, okay, coming back to earth, soothing, calming those frazzled nerves now. You know, we're out of the fire season, and the Sun, he enters your 8th house of intimacy, the house of soul bonding, the house that is ruled over by Scorpio, the house of alchemy, the house of deep soul diving. So as the planets move into Virgo, always at this time of year, Aquarius, you are called into your inner world, into your psychological processes to clear, to purge, to process, to let go of anything that you've been holding on to that is not serving you. And this energy can really follow on from the learning you've been doing about relationships. So here we take it to a deeper level. The 7th house is partnership, you know, it's ruled by Libra, so it can be a very romantic, harmonious place. The 8th house is scorpionic, so it's still about the other, but Scorpio seeks soul bonding. It seeks deep intimacy, connection that goes way beyond the superficial. So perhaps there will be a deepening in your relationships as a result of the work you've been doing, or perhaps, you know, this can also be highlighting the work you've been doing around healing your sexuality as well, working with your desires and your needs in that way. So it's an energy of depth, and you might find yourself, you know, having lots of deep conversations, talking about things that you thought you might have forgotten about, or maybe engaging in some healing work, some clearing work. And the Sun will be coming into a grand Earth trine as he moves into Virgo. So he will be coming into alignment with Uranus in your 4th house and Saturn in your 12th house. And these are all watery, hidden, subconscious areas of the birth chart. So this can bring, again, a sense of being able to ground that healing energy, really coming into, okay, I've done all of this work. Now, how can I manifest the internal changes on a physical level? How do I need to reorganize my life to come into alignment with who I am now? Because you might not be the same person that you were before eclipse season started, Aquarius. So who are you now? What are your hidden needs? You know, what are those desires that really motivate your soul, that really make you want to get up in the morning and give something to the world? So it's a beautiful time of grounded practical healing, and perhaps a reawakening of inner purpose for you. So On the 27th, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Mars will be stationing direct in Capricorn in your 12th house. So this is where, you know, some of that subconscious cleansing has been going on. Perhaps you've been calling your power back even through lifetimes, you know, previous lifetimes, previous incarnations with this energy. You know, you might have felt the need to be more internal, to rest. And as he begins to pick up speed, he's going to cross your ascendant and he's going to re-enter your sign, like I said, on the 10th of September. So this is a moment for you of really having that release, you know, that sense of, okay, I have witnessed how I give my power away. I have witnessed how I use my time and energy in ways that don't serve me. I have witnessed where my ego is driving me to do things that don't feel true to my soul. I have worked, I've gone within, I've learned how to balance my inner feminine and masculine. I've reclaimed the sacred warrior aspect of myself, and now I'm going to move forward. How are you going to use all of this new energy, Aquarius? What new ways are you going to express yourself in the world? How are you going to use all of these cosmic insights that you have in ways that can serve the collective? You know, perhaps you've been even more deeply involved with humanitarian causes. Perhaps you have been getting so angry about the injustices of the world. You know, we've got Lilith lingering around here as well in your sign. So, okay, we felt the anger, we felt the suppression, we felt the oppression. What are we going to do about it now? How can you, with your life, make a change, be an example of progression, of forward movement, of coming out of patriarchy? So lots of things for you to think about with this, Aquarius, but you will notice a difference in energy. You will notice your power returning. You will notice your vitality and your drive. You will start to resurrect and come back to life. So Saturn, hooray, another direct planet, will also be changing direction on the 6th of September. So he has been in your 12th house since winter solstice last year. He's been transiting that hidden part of your birth chart, and he's been retrograde there since April. So this again is a very internal energy. The 12th house is the house where we hold all of our karmic stuff, all of our hidden things, you know, things that we don't even recognize within ourselves, we find in the 12th house. And when Saturn transits this space of your birth chart, there can be a real sense of heaviness because you are clearing all of the psychic baggage from the last 28-year cycle. So it can be a real time of letting go, of really clearing and cleaning out yourself on a psychic level. So this can be a time when you are being most drawn to meditation, to spiritual practices, to those things which can help you let go and move into the flow. You know, it's almost like preparing yourself for your next phase of evolution when Saturn moves into Aquarius in 2020. So as he stations direct, all of the inner clearing work that you've been doing over the past few months, we begin to see the results. The things that you've been working with subconsciously that might not even be apparent to you, you can now start to see the results of. So if you've been working hard clearing out your addictions, you know, clearing out your tendency towards detachment, towards spaciness, if you've been working hard spiritually, you know, perhaps devoting yourself to a daily meditation practice, now you can begin to see the results. So as you can see, all of these planets are moving forward. Things are changing, things are shifting. We are moving towards the next phase. We're moving towards the equinox turning point, the beginning of another 6-month cycle. So we're going to finish this lunar cycle with a Virgo new moon, and it's also in your 8th house. So this can be a time when you can set intentions to how to heal all of the feelings you have around Scorpio themes, around death and rebirth, around, you know, things that are occult, taboo, things relating to sexuality and intimacy. And Virgo is the sign of purity. So this can really be a time when you can start to let go of any shame or guilt that you have around your sexuality or your desires or preferences. And, you know, you can start to think about creating a new beginning in your intimate relationships. So all of the work you've been doing with looking at the other person as a mirror, where do you want to progress from here, Aquarius? You know, this is a time when you can really call forth deep soul connections. So think about what you want to ground in. What is the emotional healing that you want to ground in at this time, and set those intentions. So we have another kind of action-packed month, but in a much more productive way than we have, you know, really since May, when Uranus entered Taurus. So this is the real kind of calming, cooling phase. And I picked some cards for you, Aquarius, and, well, there's two actually, because firstly, Hermes, Mercury himself, flew out of the deck that I'm using, which is the Mythic Oracle cards with a lot of the ancient Greek gods and goddesses, which are of course the archetypes we work with in astrology. And these are by Carissa Melado and Michelle Lee Phelan. And Mercury, the messenger, he's been retrograde in your 7th house. So this is about paying extra attention to that area of your life and all of the things that I've been discussing, you know, because also the other card that flew out for you is Pan, who is sometimes known as the horned god. And he is that energy that is very sexual, very primal, it's very ecstatic. So this really confirms what I've been saying about a big focus of this month, healing those sexual wounds. Perhaps somebody will give you a message, there'll be some insight that helps you take that healing to a deeper level. Perhaps you need to, after all of this intensity, just really learn how to be in your body, Aquarius. Perhaps, you know, you really need to go back and experience just the ecstasy of being alive, because you, like I say, are that cosmic force. You know, you're kind of out there in the stars, in the galaxies, and this is an energy of coming back into the body. What does the body need? What does the body desire? What are your physical needs here on the earth plane? So listen for the messages that Mercury, the messenger, is bringing you, particularly around this area. So I hope that you find this reading beneficial and helpful, Aquarius, during this very challenging cosmic time for you. If you would like to connect with me further, there are some links below the video, and you can also reach out to me for readings if you would like to. I am wishing you so much love for this transitionary lunar cycle.